Next is Linda Rutland, Linwood, it says Collage on my list, but I know it's Linwood College, Community Partnership Group.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Nice to see you all. We've come today to talk about the Linwood Wilson Pool, and we are representatives of the Linwood Community Partnership Group, the Linwood College Community Partnership Group. We've been going for 2 years now, and we started out with a very successful project that when we were awarded some money from the MSD to research what would make Linwood College a more attractive school of choice for our whole combined areas. The areas we represent are Bromley, Woolston, Phillipstown, Heathcote, Mount Pleasant, Redcliffs and Sumner. And that consultation was unique, successful and very well commended by both the MSD and the leadership expert Chris Jensen. The importance of the consultation is we felt it confirmed that people wanted to go local and they wanted to be in amongst their wider community. Our group has continued to engage with Linwood College beyond the research project as we share a common passion and interest of the wellbeing of our shared area, wellbeing of children and youth of our shared areas. The Linwood Wilson Pool project is another rare opportunity to bring all our communities together, somewhere that will offer people from many neighbourhoods to have full enjoyment of the company of one another. This project will help integrate all our families in a really healthy way. In terms of the Linwood Wilson project, none of the areas that we work for or belong to have a facility of any kind. So the need is right through that whole broad area. So we commend the council for putting in this LTP that you will finally address that this long-standing disparity and allocate $21 million to build an aquatic facility, and it's currently titled the Linwood Wilson Pool. As in past years, because it has been on budget for a while, we implore the council not to delay this project any further. We noted in our submission last year, we endorsed the draft plan which stated the pool facility would commence in April 2018 and be complete by the end of next year. After our submission, the pool was delayed to a completion date of 2021. This was disappointing, and it does not really serve our communities well to have this project delayed. In terms of the location that's been identified for the pool, we think it's fabulous. We think it's a good location, it's central. There's amazing transport routes on both sides of that block so that people can access it very easily. And just at the moment there's a fantastic cycleway that's been put in which people from all along that transport route will be able to access the new pool. In terms of the scope of the project, I know you've called it the Linwood Wilson Pool, and it's been talked about as being for a particular small area, but regardless of that, people from out the whole of the area that we represent are going to use this pool. I just want you to be fully cognisant of the fact that this pool is going to be a very well used facility, and it's going to have the budget, particularly for the aquatic side, that's going to be adequate. Otherwise you're going to find a facility that's going to be oversubscribed within a few short years. And the only other thing we want to say is that the pool project is currently tagged the Linwood Woolston Pool. We hope that once you move to the actual implementation of the project that you'll look at a name change for that project and make it more inclusive for everyone in the ward area. Jackie, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you've covered
Okay.
it.
So in summary, thank you for the allocation of the $21 million on this plan. As I said, that we think the site is fabulous. Please remember the pool will be very heavily used, so I implore you not to cut back on the budget, and please don't delay the starting date any further because we can't just wait. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Well, I'll start with Dion, Mike, Aaron,
Thanks for
Glenn, if we've got
the
time.
presentation. I mean, there's a lot of aquatic facilities going to sort of happen in the city, so we need to sort of start thinking smart about how we operate them, I think. Have you had any thought about, you know, from the local communities, how potentially we could operate this in a bit more of a partnership so that it doesn't sort of, all of the operating costs don't necessarily land on the council, or have you had any thoughts around those
Well, the tradition of our
opportunities?
area is we used to have the Woolston pool, and that used to work in partnership with the community, and it did so for years and years, and it only folded up, you know, relatively recently, and that money went into trust with the council. So, yeah, our history is that we have had partnerships, and I believe we could do again. The community's amazing, and it doesn't matter whether it's low socioeconomic or high socioeconomic, people are behind things, doing things like that. Yeah.
Good, Mike?
Thank you. So with the budget of $21 million for the pool, do you think that budget's enough for it to actually span right across to Sumner?
Well, since that was where this whole project began for the whole area, I would hope that that's always been in the planner's mind. When Rod Donald, as I say, came to you last year and talked to you about how Rod Donald came and said that we needed a pool for the whole area, that's where this project came from. So we believe people are going to use that pool because of the transport routes. So even if you think you're going to be able to keep it confined, it's going to be used.
So,
And I don't know how much pools cost, so I haven't delved into that side.
Well, we know we can do a community pool for $5 million.
Why do you know that?
But because we've got plans for the Edgware Pool has plans that the community design that actually puts a purposely built community pool in there that will fit the needs of St Albans for $5 million.
So one suburb.
Yeah, one suburb, precisely. And so obviously we have Linwood, Woolston, and we've got a $21 million pool, which you're saying is going to stretch all the way out to Sumner. At the same time, we're building obviously quite a significant pool in the part of the city for a lot more. And I'm just wondering if you're in Sumner, potentially, if the pool's right, you'd actually travel those few extra Ks and go into the heart of the city and use that facility, which is probably going to be a lot bigger than the Linwood pool. I'm happy to have a Linwood pool, Woolston pool, but it's actually meeting the needs of the community. But now I'm hearing the community actually stretches from Linwood right out to Sumner, which is a huge area.
That's the way this project's always developed. The need is there. Sometimes people will take the extra travel and go to the metro facility, but that's likely to be in the weekends when they've got time. But as they're travelling back from work or going to work, they're going to probably just hive off and go there and then go on their way. People do what's easiest for their lives, so that's what's going to happen.
Aaron?
And I do not believe you could build a pool for $5 million to serve the needs of all those people.
Aaron?
Yeah, so mine's a semi-follow-on from Mike's around a fit-for-purpose facility. The area that this pool represents is where I grew up. I grew up in St John Street, went to Linwood Intermediate, went to Bromley Primary, and the type of kids that lived in that area are quite different to other areas. So the needs, I think, are different, and what attracts them to a pool is quite. It is obvious that I'm different, and so I look at the indoor facility that goes at St Albans, which is the Learn to Swim pool. But for the kids that I grew up with in Linwood and Woolston, they liked jumping off things. That's why we went to Centennial rather than other pools, because you're allowed to jump off the boards. So for me, the cost is irrelevant. It's more around the scope that would you be open to a conversation with the community about what they actually want as the facility, not necessarily say, look, we just want the 21 million and that's spent, but get the best result for the community, because I see a big a community facility there, like with a hall, as well as the Learn to Swim pool, and then a big outdoor Pacific style pool where it has jumping cliffs and all sorts of things into a lagoon style, rather than a traditional pool that you get more like over my side of town now, which is the Graham Condon, which is pretty boring to take kids to be honest.
Yes, I too grew up in Linwood and went to all those areas and went to the Wilson pool. Spent my childhood doing that, and I understand what you're saying. I think everyone would like a selection of pools, but it's what you've got only a certain amount of money, and I thought the consultation has gone out as to what people wanted for their pool. Yeah, I thought that work was done.
Well, they haven't been offered anything cool, I didn't think. But
Thank you. Glenn?
Quick question, have you been part of any needs analyses, so in a way similar to Aaron's question, I think, for your community, you know, identifying specific needs for...
We?
Yes, yeah.
Through the pool project?
Well, through any recent survey needs analysis work in that community?
No, our work was really done in relation to the school, what people needed from their local high school, but we continue to, well, we all know each other's areas quite well, so we know what the needs are, but we haven't done any research on that, recent research.
Okay, so there's no actual documents to go to over, these are the needs for Linwood or...
No.
Excuse
But
me, councillors
Sorry, guys,
are
I'm
not
asking-
invited to participate in a debate around the table. We'll get to that. But look, if we can ask staff to provide that background information. It has been collated over the years. It's a very long-standing issue. So, look, thank you very much for your submission. I'm sorry, but I do need to move along, and if I don't move along to the next submitter, then we'll get behind. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could I invite